Hey everyone, so this is Chicago PD, Season 4, Episode 4, called Big Friends, Big Enemies. The episode starts off with Ruzek and Lindsay working overtime at a concert. Ruzek tries to give her advice about her and Halstead's dating life, but she says she doesn't want it because look at how he screwed up his relationship with Burgess. And that's when shots are fired. They run outside and see a car being driven around and shooting everywhere. Um, Voight and Atwater arrive, and Voight initiates a Plan 3, whatever that means. If y'all know what that means, please tell me, because I don't know what the fuck that shit means. And I don't know if it's just a thing in Chicago or if it's like a thing nationwide or what, but anyway, so Atwater has everyone to this scene when he notices someone is hurt in an alley. Um, and we find out this guy's name is TK. I don't remember what the initials stand for, but that's what he goes by now is TK. And it appears that the guy who knew what he was, he knew what he was doing because he opened fire. He opened fire when the concert lit out. So there's this FBI agent who is called in, and he says that a terrorist group would have claimed responsibility by now when Ruzek asks about terrorist groups. Halston and Lindsay then come up and reveal that the car was burned in a parking lot or a parking garage, and the person who did that tried to take the VIN number off, but they forgot about um, either they forgot about the one on the frame or they didn't know about it. So it's registered to a guy named Greg Penley who has a prior for hate crimes. Um, Burgess and Julie are, there. They tell Voight that no one's come in or out of Penley's house since they've been there. Um, so Burgess pretends that there's a gas leak in the neighborhood to get Penley out of the house. Um, and before he can, kind of close the door and make a run for it, Voight comes up behind him, puts a gun to his head, and pulls him out the door by his beard. So basically, at the precinct, he says that he didn't know anything because he was at home, and that he has an alibi where he had a pizza delivered at 10 a.m. Or not 10 a.m., 10 p.m. And basically, the car that was registered to him was, across town on the west side in a parking lot, because he doesn't really use it anymore. And the only time he ever uses it is to go, visit his mother up in Michigan. And then Halstead, comes in and says that there's something White needs to see. Um, Apparently, there have been 15 posts online about the crime, starting with the gang leader. Um, think of the Lords. I think I don't remember if that's the whole name of the gang, but um, Deep Park Lords is Deep Park Lords. Okay, so I think this because I think they said that uh it was looking like the leader of the Deep Park Lords was behind it all, um and they try to alibi Penley among other things. When Lindsay reveals that she just got a call about another mass shooting. Voight then says, it might not be terrorism, but a gang war. Alinsky then says it appears to be revenge on TK's shooting. Um, One guy who doesn't have any tattoos was killed. And Alinsky said he was listed ID'd as someone who's living down the street and everything. Uh, and Voight's like, I don't think the guys killed, had anything to do with TK's shooting, and the person who did this only wanted more bodies. Um, Voight and Atwater, kind of see a rival gang, or a local gang there, and think it's going to go only one way from now on. Uh, Ruzek comes up and shows a video of the two people who posted it and shared it. Um, the two people who committed the crime, picked up the same guns, the guns still on them. So Voight's like, and he's like, well, is it going to be a gang war now? And he's just concerned about that. Mark Keynes, I think, who goes by Marky or something like that, is TK's manager, and appears to have gotten TK off when TK was arrested. They think TK is rapping about violence for Mark, and his gang associations, even though he really isn't, actually in a gang. And when Voight has him keep digging, Atwater calls someone, but only gets their voicemail, so he leaves one. Um, and I would love to see more about Atwater just because I feel like we only know the fact that he has a brother and sister who live with him. I don't think we heard anything about his mother and father and where they are. And I would like to know more about that. I mean, I think we've got more information about everyone else because we focused on Voight a lot since he's pretty much the center of the whole show. We've learned about Olinsky a lot last season. I think last season, but I definitely learned a lot about him. Dawson we focused on quite a bit as well. Um, Lindsay we focused on too. I think the only other person who really hasn't had that much, talked about is Halstead. So, um, yeah, I would just like, to see, um, more about Atwater because he seems to be the only one. And I think Burgess is also someone we don't had really heard much about. I don't know, because it's like, I mean, even if we had heard something about Burgess, I think it's been a long time since we actually heard about it. So I've completely forgotten about any details that we might have heard about Burgess. Anyway, that's just my whole thing. It's just, yeah. So Ruzek then goes down to see this woman named Jenny, who has projected target, about who could be a target and who could be a suspect. Um, and they had this sort of exchange where it seems like it's flirting. And honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they make Jenny the one who makes Ruzek commit in a relationship, like commit to her. I wouldn't be surprised, and I would not be surprised because I mean he's had three women who he's been engaged to who he would not commit to. So I mean, this point I mean it's kind of getting old that he's not committing. So it wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Jenny is the one who he commits to. Especially seeing as how they're like flirting and everything. So it goes to Julian Burgess, going to a person's house who they think is a suspect. And Burgess sees another kid, she knows, and takes him away. Find out later that that's Jordan, uh, Kevin's little brother. Um, then we see Lindsay and Halsey talking to TK's parents. They tell his parents that he may have been a target. And his mother's like, well, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, I don't think he didn't do anything wrong. But Halstead points out that TK is associated with people who are in a violent street gang. Um, and his father chimes in and says that an hour ago he thought that the cops would find his son's shooter, but now he knows they won't because they live in the south side of Chicago. Um, Atwater tries to get information from Mark, but he doesn't reveal anything. The kid, okay, never mind. I already said that. 2 years prior, TK won the school talent show, and now Mark has gotten, into rapping. Uh, Ruza then brings Jenny up because she got some new information. She says that since people, including gang members, have a certain syntax when they write things or when they speak, she and other people looking at what they read online can tell if it was written supposedly by them, um, was actually written by them. And she found a few posts she didn't recognize. Jenny's like, goes off on a little, tirade. I don't know. I don't want to say tirade, but little um, goes down some other path, talking about how she used to be part of the ivory tower, and how she saw files on um, Voight, and she was like wondering if everything that she read in those files was true. But then Ruzek jumps in and says that Jenny found out that the first three posts were supposedly written by one G Park Lord, and the other two belonging to a Southside hustler. And it's looking like one person was behind all three of those original first posts, trying to start a gang war. And the last post's IP address comes back to Charles Backer, and he has Ruzek and Lewinsky, get Lewinsky and Dawson check out Backer, and on his way out, he whispers into Denny's ear, saying that all the things he saw in the files were true. Um, okay, then. Not gonna comment. So then Alinsky and Dawson go to Backer's place and find three people trying to have a threesome. Turns out Backer has posted the place for rent several times, and this woman that they found is just paying rent, and she just sends a check to Backer once a month. Uh, Dawson is just thinking that a neighbor was piggybacking onto their Wi-Fi. So back at the station, music reveals Backer's place has been rented 10 times, or 10 different times in the last 4 years. So like anywhere close to 100 people could have gotten the password. And the best guess is whoever is making the post is mobile. So Voight and Olinsky has Olinsky Dawson watch the place. Downstairs, Atwater gets word that Jordan was picked up or taken by Burgess when she and Julie had gone, questioned that kid, and um, at the hospital, waiting Atwater get word from Maggie that TK lost too much blood and died. Atwater then confronts Mark and blames him for TK's death, just because he feels that TK or Mark got TK entrapping just to fill his own pockets. Ruzek then radios Halstead and Lindsay. The Deep Park Lords are planning a hit, so they get Halstead and Lindsay drive as fast as they can to the place where they're most likely at, and when they see Lindsay drive up, they drive away. So Halstead asks a bit later, after calling it in, uh, if they knew who they're gonna shoot next, and it's like I don't think they really were. I think they were just gonna shoot people up. At Backer's house, Alinsky tries to ask Antonio about what he meant when he said that he had seen too much of the previous crime scene. But before they can get really into it too far, they think they see someone who is the person who's been making the post drive up, and Antonio says that when the guy just drove up, there it must have been him because there's new posts that just went live, like not even at just 2 seconds after he left. So they trail the guy to a location, and Dawson gets told after calling it in that it's a location for the Latin players. So they go in and arrest the guy and find out a tattoo of the Latin player's arm. At the precinct, they question why Lewis posted that stuff. He says he was out with his girlfriend when TK got shot, and was only talking trash. Music says he was actually out with his girlfriend, so it really wasn't him. And then Halstead comes in and it's like, the guy who actually bought the laptop along with other things doesn't match Lewis, and the person in the surveillance used a fake ID. Voight then decides to go find out who it is by himself. At a local bar, he meets with this guy named Mal, and Voight tells him that the guy in the surveillance photo, shot TK, and he hired Lewis to help fuel the gang war that neither one he's a part of, um, but except for Mal's. So White wants information on the guy in the surveillance video, or else he will have officers go to his family's houses and make hell for them, basically. Mal then says the guys are smart, and maybe the plan was half cooked, or maybe it was just they were trying to make a reputation for themselves, but they both had no permission. So he gives it the name, and the guy's name is Alex, and he hangs out at a pool hall. So they make this plan on luring Alex out by having Mal send Alex a text to get him out, um, and everyone is pretty much, you know, uh, everyone is pretty much um, pretending to be like, someone else, or Dawson's pretending to be a maintenance man, and Halstead is hiding behind he's hiding behind a dumpster and everything, and so White has Val send Alex a text to get him out of the pool hall, and when Alex comes out, Halstead tackles him before realizing that that Alex is under the age of 18, basically. And it turns out Alex is a student at St. Francis Junior High. Um, then after all that, Atwater and Music both bring one member of the G Park Lords and the Street Hustlers to see Voight. Voight tells them that someone played both of their gangs, and that the G Park Lords didn't hit TK, and it was someone else entirely. He continues on by saying that each gang played right into uh, these people's hands, um, that they got the person who did it, and now it's in their hands whether or not to continue fighting over nothing. And both gangs agreed to not continue, the revenge war. Kevin and Voight then have a little heart to heart, which I'm glad that I really like seeing those little heart to hearts that Voight has with people, because I mean it doesn't happen all that often, which I'm kind of sad about. But I mean, I'm glad that they kind of really, at least do that once in a while. But before Kevin, you know, after that, Kevin drives back home, and he's watching people in the neighborhood as he does so. And once at home, Burgess tells him, Jordan's been in his room, and uh, once Burgess leaves, both the sister and brother come in, and immediately Jordan starts, defending himself. And all Kevin does is ask if they're hungry, and they go out. He looks so tired. Like, he looks so damn tired. Like, he looks like he doesn't have any strength to even argue with this boy. And it's like, I don't blame him. Like, after what's been happening the entire day, I don't blame him for just, saying, fuck it. Do you guys want something to eat? Because I'm hungry. Like, um, I don't know. All in all, I thought it was just a regular old episode. Um, I mean, it didn't really surprise me that someone was setting these people up. It really wasn't that surprising. I kind of figured that was what was going on, like, fairly early on. Like, within the first, like, 15 minutes, I felt like that was what was going on, was that someone was setting them up, because, like, it was just, like, too convenient that they, yeah, it just felt a little bit too convenient and stuff. So, um, well, not next week, in 2 weeks, just like with SVU, Chicago PD is coming back on in 2 weeks, and it's looking like Voight and Intelligence are going after the most notorious crime lord. Um, it's an Asian gang, I believe. It's looking like it's an Asian gang. I'm not sure which one, because they don't say which one it is. So I'm not gonna, assume. I'm not gonna, like, say which one it is. Um, but somewhere along the line, Voight thinks that something isn't right about whatever crime puts their sights on him. So it's looking like it's another. It's looking like it may be another setup. Um, make setup like where it's looking like it's these this particular person, but it's not. What I'm thinking is, since they had kind of had this whole thing, since they had this whole, it's looking like it was this gang who did this, but it really wasn't, and so it incited the gang war. Since I kind of had that pretty much similarly to on Wednesday night's episode, I'm thinking the leader of this Asian gang is going to be it's going to be where he makes it look like he's being set up, but he's actually not being set up. He actually did do whatever uh, gets intelligence looking and trying to go after him. So that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen. Since they kind of had the same thing going on this episode, it's not. I mean, if they keep going with it seems like these people are being set up sort of thing. It's gonna get too old and stale. So I'm thinking what's gonna happen is this Asian gang leader is gonna make it look like he's being set up for a crime that he didn't commit, but he actually did do it, to throw the cops off of his scent and or the trail and everything. So that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen in 2 weeks. So that's all I'm gonna really say. Well, actually, no. I'm thinking like I said in this recap. I'm thinking Rizek and this Jenny girl are gonna hook up, and she's gonna be the one that make him commit and everything, because it's just based off of how they were flirting in the episode. So, or it seems like they were flirting in the episode. That's what I'm thinking is gonna happen. Is that they're going to hook up and end up in a relationship, and she's gonna end up being the one that gets him to commit. That's what I'm gonna think. That's the long term thing that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen. So, with all that said, hit like if you like this episode. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and please don't hesitate to comment below about this episode, previous episodes, and future episodes. With that said, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks for Chicago PD. Bye.